Starting with the open section, Caruana managed to defeat Abhimanyu Mishra in a nice technical game, taking the lead for the first time in the event, as he aims for his third straight title. Other results saw Robson defeating a Wonderlying with black, the rest of the games being drawn. That means Caruana is now in the sole lead with 3 out of 4, with So, Neiman and Sevian all a half-point behind on 2.5 out of 3. Going into the games, we'll start with the game between Caruana and Mishra, which featured a French. Here, Caruana goes for knight c3, the classical variation, and then e5, and knight to e2, instead of the main line with f4. And Mishra actually gets out of the opening quite alright in this one. After g3, h4, black takes on d4 and goes f6, ef6, and now bishop to b4 check. Kind of an interesting nuance in order to take on f6 with the queen. Knight c3, and here, black actually ends up taking with the knight on f6, but queen takes f6 was another idea. Bishop g2, bishop d7, castles, and here black is quite alright. The bishop is able to escape the pawn chain, and black just has this one weakness on e6, but doesn't seem to be such a big deal as the rest of black's position is pretty active. However, Caruana does end up getting a bit of an advantage here later on, as Mishra goes for some complications here. He takes on d4, wins a pawn, but white goes rook to b4, black defends the b pawn, and now white wins back the pawn. And the players end up in this position where basically black is left with an isolated king pawn, and white is just kind of piling up on this one. So I think with best play with computer defense, this one should have been a draw, but it really wasn't so easy in practice, as Caruana now goes f4, piling up on the pin along the e-file, and yes, not so easy to defend this one with tactics. Mishra did manage for some time. Here he goes rook to d8, I think. The engine was giving some shot with h5 and rook d2 check as leading to a draw, but computer stuff. So rook e8, rook e3 check, queen comes back, now queen h5 and h6. I think the engine was once again saying like queen to d3 was the best defense, but h6. Caruana takes the pawn now on e5, queen c6, queen to g4, and at this point had black played rook to e6, he's still kind of holding the position. White, of course, has an extra pawn and very decent winning chances, but doesn't seem to be decisive quite yet. Instead, Mishra on move 39 goes a rook f8. In time trouble, he's been in time trouble for a while. e6, rook f1, threatening mate on h1, but now just queen to e4. White covers everything, and black is forced to trade queens and go into a very, very bad rook endgame. So this one ends up winning for Caruana as he just brings the king up. Rook to c4 is a nice touch. The king and pawn endgame is going to be winning. Rook to d8, now white's rook enters the 7th rank. And Caruana's technique here was definitely good enough as he wins the second pawn and eventually does convert this one. Pretty smooth. It wins the third pawn, king comes up, and yeah, black can only resist for so long here. Rook c6 takes, king takes h6, and your Mishra resigned as now the win is really rather trivial. So big win for Caruana as Neiman did not win today's game. Neither did So now Caruana takes the clear lead with 3 out of 4 in the US Championship. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe.